The candidates need no introduction. The Republican candidate, Vice President Richard M. Nixon, and the Democratic candidate, Senator John F. Kennedy.
The whole exercise, what really matters is how it's being seen by the millions and millions of people who are watching it on television, not by me or by a few hundred people who are in the hall.
All right, the next question also on a health issue is from...
The presidential debate has evolved through many election cycles, and we got to where everybody's wanted to go from day one, which is to more open discussions and direct challenges to and from the candidates, as we finally got to last Wednesday night. You'd have to say it may end up being considered one of the most significant of the televised presidential debates. It was the first time an incumbent president of the United States was challenged head-on on television for the whole world to see by a challenger.
Senator Kennedy has suggested in his speeches that we lack compassion.
He endorsed that decision, endorsed the sale of arms to the Ayatollah.
If you don't think that this course that we've been on...
Going back through history of presidential debates, as I say, each one has made a little mark here, a little mark there. It's hard to generalize. There have been times early on in 1976 when Gerald Ford made the mistake where he talked about the fact that the Soviet Union did not dominate Eastern Europe.
There is no Soviet domination of Eastern Europe, and there never will be under a Ford administration.
Jimmy Carter won the election. I talked to both of those men afterward about whether or not that turned the election. Neither one would say that it actually turned the election, but it certainly had an effect.
People will be able to take their HMO insurance company to court.
In 2000, there were 3 debates between George W. Bush and Al Gore. In St. Louis, the candidates were allowed to walk around, and suddenly there comes Al Gore walking directly toward George W. Bush, and like he was stalking him.
But can you get things done? And I believe I can.
And I thought I'd prepared for everything, but I had not prepared to throw myself between these two guys. It ruined the whole thing for Gore.
Do you see a major difference between the two of you on Social Security?
The whole point of this new format was to try to facilitate an open exchange, a more open exchange and direct exchange between the candidates.
Let's get back to Medicare. Let's get back to Medicare. The president said that the government can provide...
You know, I could have played big TV anchorman. I know how to do that. I could have shut those guys up. You know, I could have stopped the debate and say, hey, gentlemen, you're not following the rule. I could have done all kinds of things I could have done. And if I'd have done that, I'd have made a fool of myself.
And so the question now is, how do we build...
Once I realized that for me to stop them from talking to each other about things that matter, I was fine. The magnitude of the venture, I never lose sight of. And I'm aware that any moderator, as well as any candidate, a gesture that's kind of weird, a false word here or there, is all susceptible to scrutiny and to judgment. As a moderator, what I'm concentrating on is trying to make sure that I don't do anything that affects the outcome of a debate, much less an election.